Hi, this is Shirley again, and I am back with you for adult story time. Let me tag a few people and let them know we are online. All right, we are back with the Harbinger. Harbinger by Jonathan Cahn, Cahn. I'm Shirley, and this is adult story time. We left off in chapter 16, and we were dealing with the uprooted. We're going to be going into chapter 7. I'm sorry. This is, we left off in chapter 15. And that was the Isaiah 9 and 10 effect. Today we're going to be going into chapter 16, the uprooted. But before we do that, in case there's anybody new, we're going to read a little bit about the author, Jonathan Cahn. Jonathan Cahn is known for opening up the deep mysteries of Scripture and for teaching of prophetic import. He leads Hope of the World Ministries, an international outreach of teaching, evangelism, and compassion projects for the needy. He also leads the Jerusalem Center Beth Israel, a worship center made up of Jews and Gentiles, people of all backgrounds, located in Wayne, New Jersey, just outside of New York City. He has ministered throughout the world and on television and radio. He is a Messianic Jewish believer, a Jewish follower of Jesus. For more information or for more messages and teaching from Jonathan, or to contact his ministry, write to Hope of the World, Box 1111, Lodi, Lodi, New Jersey, 07644. You can also visit his website, get in touch, and get more online at www.theharbinger, Harbinger, website.com or www.hopeoftheworld.org. And now I'm going to read the back of the book with Jonathan's summary of the book. Is it possible? Is it possible that there exists an ancient mystery that holds the secret of America's future? That this mystery is behind everything from 9/11 to the collapse of the global economy. That God is now sending a prophetic message on which America's future hangs. Before its end as a nation, there appeared in ancient Israel a series of specific omens and signs warning of destruction. These same 9 harbingers are now manifesting in America with profound ramifications for America's future and end-time prophecy. Hidden in an ancient biblical verse from the book of Isaiah, the mysteries revealed in the Harbinger are so precise that they foretell recent American events down to the exact days. The 3,000-year-old mystery that revealed the exact date of the stock market collapse of 2008, the ancient prophecy that was proclaimed from the floor of the U.S. Senate and then came true, and more. The revelations are so specific that even the most hardened skeptic will find it hard to put down. Though it sounds like the plot of a Hollywood thriller, it's real. Written in a riveted narrative style, The Harbinger opens with the appearance of a man burdened with a series of messages he has received in the form of 9 seals. Each seal unveils a prophetic mystery concerning America and its future that takes you on an amazing journey that will change the way you see the world forever. All right, let's jump right into our chapter 16, the uprooted. I like to try to just summarize the last page of the previous chapter, just to kind of take us into that smoothly for some people that may have missed yesterday's. So I'm going to start with the last page. Within the sycamore are two mysteries, one going back to the last days of ancient Israel and the other going back to the first days of America. So we're going to go into a little American history today, which will be a little in depth again. So we'll try to read a little slower and give you a chance to process this. The Uprooted. Look at the seal again, he said. What do you see? The sycamore, I answered. Look deeper, not at the main image. Look to the left of it. What do you see? Something that looks like some sort of a wall. It's a wall. And he began walking, motioning me to follow him. We resumed the conversation slowly, making our way down the street, stopping several times along the way. The Lord sent a word, he said, through the prophet Ezekiel. So I will break down the wall you have plastered with untempered mortar and bring it down to the ground so that its foundation will be uncovered. It will fall, and you shall be consumed in the midst of it. Then you shall know that I am the Lord. Its foundation will be uncovered. What foundation do you think the prophecy is referring to, Noriel? The foundation of a wall, it would seem. A foundation is that upon which something stands or rests or is built. So a nation's foundation is that upon which it stands or on which it was founded, or that in which it rests or places its trust. The nations of ancient Israel trusted in their idols and gods. Modern nations trust in their powers, their militaries, their economics, their resources. But what it's saying here is that in the days of judgment, a nation's foundations are laid bare. Its idols and its powers fall. They fail. It's one of the key signs of judgment, the laying bare of foundations. The Lord said this through the prophet Jeremiah. Behold, what I have built I will break down, and what I have planted I will pluck up. That which is built up from the foundation, and that which is broken down to the foundation. So the Lord built up Israel as one builds up a house, and planted it as one plants a tree. But in the days of Israel's judgment, that which was built up will be broken down, and that which was planted will be uprooted. Two images of a national judgment, the breaking down and the uprooting. It's the same pattern and the same order as Jeremiah 9 and 10. First comes the breaking down, the fallen bricks. Then comes the uprooting, the sycamore. And that's what actually happened on 9/11. First came the collapse of the buildings, and then the uprooting of the sycamore, the two images of national judgment, and in the same order. Yes, said the prophet. And it goes deeper. The World Trade Center was the towering symbol of American financial power, a power centuries in the making and long connected to the island of Manhattan. The island that long functioned as the focal point of the nation's economic and financial activity. As far back as the dawn of the 17th century, the island served as a trading outpost for the Dutch. Those first traders and settlers soon felt the need to protect themselves from the Indians, the pirates, and other perceived dangers. So they built a wall. Along that wall, merchants opened up shops and set up warehouses, and in time the wall became the center point of the island's trade and commerce. The Dutch would eventually lose the island to the British. The British would tear down the wall. Nevertheless, the road will continue to bear the name of Wall Street. Wall Street, I asked? Correct. The street we're walking on right now, it's Wall Street. Yes, and it was from the street and from these beginnings that America's financial power would rise, and this island became the nation's financial capital. Wall Street would become a channel for the pouring in and out of money to finance America's ascendancy to economic, commercial, and industrial superpower. Here on this street, the nation's economic fortunes would rise and fall, and mostly rise. It will become the embodiment of American financial power. And in the 20th century, as America emerged as the world's towering economic colossus, the power and reach of Wall Street would encircle the globe to become, in effect, the financial capital of the world. Pretty impressive, I said, for a street that started out as a wall. Pretty impressive, he said, for any street. But how did it happen? What was it transformed? What was it that transformed the road just a few blocks long, and that for decades was not even paved with cobblestones, into America's financial capital and the world's preeminent financial superpowers? I think you're going to have to tell me that. In March of 1792, a secret meeting took place at Manhattan Hotel. It involved 24 of the city's leading merchants. The purpose of the meeting was to bring order to the trading of stocks and bonds while protecting the trade from competition. 2 months later, on May the 17th, 1792, the merchants again gathered together, this time at 68 Wall Street, to sign a document. The document will seal the goal set forth at the first meeting. It would be the founding of what would ultimately be known as the New York Stock Exchange. The document was called the Buttonwood Agreement. The organization born of the agreement would be known as the Buttonwood Association, and later as the New York Stock and Exchange Board, and finally as the New York Stock Exchange. It would become the nation's leading stock exchange, and then in the 20th century, the world's. Thus, on May the 17th, 1792, with the signing of the Buttonwood Agreement, the foundation was laid for the rise of America as the world's trading financial superpower. Do you know what Buttonwood means, L'Oreal? No. It's the name of a tree, he said. Wow. What does a tree have to do with the founding of Wall Street? The 24 merchants used to meet and carry on their transactions under a buttonwood tree that grew on Wall Street. It was under that tree that they signed the agreement that gave birth to the New York Stock Exchange. So both the founding document and the founding associations were named after the tree under which it all began. Wall Street as we know it, and American financial power, also as we know it, is officially began under a buttonwood tree. May I ask a question? Of course, he said. What kind of tree is a buttonwood tree? You already know. What kind of tree? A sycamore? Yes, a sycamore. Buttonwood, he said, is in its essence just another way of saying sycamore. And the New York Stock Exchange is in essence the Sycamore Association. Wow. The World Trade Center was a towering symbol of of that power had become, what that power had become. But the sycamore was a symbol of its origin. The foundation, I said, the foundations of a nation's power, which are exposed in the days of judgment. So I will break down the wall you have plastered with untempered mortar and bring it down to the ground so that its foundations will be uncovered. And in that foundation was a sycamore, and growing in the shadow of the World Trade Center was the sycamore of ground zero. Correct, he said. And on 9/11, the fall of the one would cause the fall of the other. The fall of the symbol that stands for Wall Street. Yes, said the prophet. Just as 9/11 will strike a blow to Wall Street and the American economy, not only in those first days after the attack, but in the long-term economic damage it would inflict, accumulating in the collapse of Wall Street 7 years later. So the sycamore wasn't only a warning of judgment, it was at the same time a specific foreshadow of economic collapse. The striking down of the sycamore tree is a biblical sign of judgment, he said, but the same tree is also a symbol specific to American power. So the uprooting of the sycamore would foreshadow, yes, he said, it would foreshadow the uprooting of America's financial and economic power. He walked ahead of me, then stopped when he saw that I wasn't keeping up. Come, Noriel, I want to show you something. He led me to the end of Wall Street and into the courtyard of an old church, where there had rested a strange-looking structure of bronze. Do you know what this is? He asked. I have no idea, I said. This was among the first of permanent memorials to commemorate 9/11. It was unveiled on September 11, 2005. Its creator intended it to memorialize one of the details of the tragedy in which many found a measure of inspiration. But it meant more than he intended it to mean. Do you know what it is? It looks like some sort of a root system. It is a root system. It's the root system of a particular tree, a sycamore tree. Yes, it's the root system of the sycamore of ground zero. How? Its creator fashioned it according to the roots of the fallen tree. He intended it to be a symbol of hope. But a fallen sycamore is not a symbol of hope, I said. It's a sign of judgment. And a sign of uprooting, he added. They placed it here at the end of Wall Street, the same street symbolized by the sycamore, now bearing the image of a sycamore uprooted. The foundation, I said, the American foundation, the American financial power, is the exposing of the foundation. Wow. And a message, he said, a message from the prophets. Behold, what I have built, I will break down, and what I have planted, I will pluck up. So what does it mean, I asked? What does it mean specifically for America? If a living sycamore signifies the rise of America as the world's preeminent financial power, what does an uprooted sycamore signify? Its fall, I answered. It would have to signify its fall. God allowed America's power to be planted here, to take root, to grow, and to branch out over the world. The nation would rise to unprecedented heights of global power and economic prosperity. But in its departure and its rejection of his ways, a sign was given. If now it refused to turn back, the blessings and prosperity symbolized by the sycamore would be removed, and that which had been built up will be broken down. and that which had been planted would be uprooted. After a slight pause, he asked me for the seal. And after placing it in his hand, I received another. Do you remember this one too? He asked as I looked it over. Of course, it's the Ezra tree, the seventh Harbinger. But now you want me to see something else, right? What do you see in the background around the tree? Blades of grass. Look more carefully. Grain. Stalks of wheat. How many, he asked. How many stalks? 6, I answered. 3 on each side of the tree. 6 stalks of wheat, he said, and the 7th you don't see. How could there be a 7 if you can't see it? It's there, he said. It's there in his absence. It's there in his absence? Another mystery? This next seal, L'Oreal, is going to open up a whole other realm of mystery. And it has to do with the second shaking. With the second and with the first. And with that which joins the two together. As in Isaiah 9 and 10 effect. Yes, but in this mystery, the connections are even more beyond the realms of natural. They're supernatural? You could say that. And they connect 9/11 to the economic collapse. Not only do they connect them, they determine them. Down to the time each would take place. An ancient mystery? Yes, an ancient mystery upon which the global economy and every transaction within it was determined. A mystery that begins more than 3,000 years ago in the sands of the Middle Eastern desert. And that concludes chapter 16, the uprooted. Tomorrow, we're going to, at 5 o'clock again, we're going to chapter 17, which is the mystery of the Shematha. Shematha. Shematah. Shematha. And I have a homework for you this time. Before you come back tomorrow for the next story, I want you to look up the word Shematha. It is a Jewish term. Shemitah. The mystery of the Shematha. Thank you for joining me for Adult Story Time. And I look forward to meeting with you tomorrow, Saturday, April the 18th, for chapter 17. Before we adjourn, we're going to say a prayer. And for any of those that do not know Jesus as a personal Savior, we're going to lead you in a prayer that will join you to his family. And for those of you that already know Jesus and are Christians, it is a recommitment. Let's bow our heads. Dear Jesus, I know that you are the Son of God and that you came into this world and you died on the cross for my sins. Lord, I ask you to forgive me of all my sins and to accept me into your family. I thank you that I believe and I know that you are the Son of God. You're not just a great prophet, but you are the Son of God. And I thank you that you are now my Savior and my Lord. Thank you for the free gift of salvation. Amen. All right. And for those of you all that recommitted yourself to Christ, like telling a loved one you love them, you can never do it too much. All right, I look forward to tomorrow, the 18th of April, at 5 o'clock for the continuation of the Harbinger. Bye-bye.